Have you ever imagined a man challenging not only a king, but also the heavens? In the next minute, discover the secret of the prophet Elijah that every believer should know. A powerful video is about to reveal a truth that will shake your beliefs. But before you do, if you like this subject and this story, even before telling it, I ask that you subscribe to the channel. And during the video, if you like the story, leave a like to help spread the word about this video. It doesn't cost you anything and can help people around the world because the word of the Lord and the stories of the Bible have reached the people of the world. Thank you all in advance. Let's get started. Elijah, a prominent prophet of the northern kingdom of Israel, was a witness to and instrument of some of the most extraordinary miracles recorded in the sacred scriptures. However, in a subsequent period, he found himself overcome with deep discouragement and fear in the face of King Ahab's blatant disobedience. God commissioned Elijah to announce a severe drought upon the land. During this dry time, God cared for Elijah in a remarkable way. After the drought was announced, Elijah followed God's guidance and took refuge at the Cherith Valley, east of the Jordan. There, God provided in an extraordinary way, sending ravens to feed him. Every morning and evening, the ravens brought Elijah bread and meat while he drank from the brook. This period of divine provision was crucial in strengthening Elijah's faith and trust in God's supernatural care, even in the midst of scarcity and the challenge of drought. After the Cherith River dried up due to a prolonged drought, God led Elijah to Zarephath, a city in Sidon. There, he met a widow who was about to prepare a final meal for herself and her son before they faced death by starvation. With compassion, Elijah asked the widow for water and bread, even though he knew of the famine that was raging in the area. The widow revealed her desperate situation, having only a handful of flour and a little oil. Elijah, confident in God's provision, encouraged her not to fear and to do as planned. He promised that the miraculous supply of flour and oil would never run out until God sent rain upon the land again. The widow followed Elijah's instructions in faith and witnessed the miracle of the continual multiplication of flour and oil in her home, sustaining not only herself and her son, but also the prophet himself during difficult times. Following the divine provision at the brook Cherith and Zarephath, Elijah was called by God to a spectacular challenge against the idolatrous prophets on Mount Carmel. In this challenge, Elijah directly confronted the idolatry that permeated the nation of Israel, challenging the prophets of Baal and the goddess Asherah. Before a gathered crowd, Elijah proposed a test. Each group was to prepare a sacrifice on the altar without lighting a fire. The prophets of Baal cried out incessantly to their god, dancing and mutilating themselves in search of a divine answer, but no fire came down from heaven. In contrast, Elijah rebuilt the altar of the Lord that had fallen into disrepair, placed the sacrifice on it, and ordered it to be doused with water 3 times. Then, in a fervent prayer to the true God, heavenly fire descended upon the altar of the Lord, consuming not only the sacrifice and the soaked wood, but also the stones of the altar, and even the water around it. This powerful event demonstrated the supremacy of Israel's God over false idols and reaffirmed Elijah's unshakable faith before the entire nation. After fire from heaven consumed the sacrifice on the altar, Elijah ordered the prophets of Baal captured and taken to the Kishon Valley, where they were executed according to divine law. Elijah then climbed to the top of Mount Carmel to pray for rain that would bring an end to the drought in the land. As he prayed earnestly, his servant saw a small cloud on the horizon, signaling the beginning of God's answer. Shortly thereafter, dark clouds formed in the sky, and a powerful storm began to fall over the region, bringing relief and fertility to the parched land. The miracle of rain was yet another demonstration of God's power in response to Elijah's faith and obedience. After the confrontation on Mount Carmel and the miraculous rain that ended the drought on earth, Elijah received a message from Jezebel, the wicked and idolatrous queen, threatening him with death. Fearing for his life in the face of the queen's wrath, Elijah fled for his life. His journey of escape took him beyond the territory of Israel, to Beersheba in the kingdom of Judah. There he left his servant and traveled alone through the desert toward the south. Weary and hopeless, Elijah found a juniper tree and sat down under its shade. In a moment of deep anguish, he begged God to take his life, feeling helpless and exhausted in the face of adversity. However, in his weakness, an angel of the Lord visited him and strengthened him with divine food prepared on hot stones and cool water. Encouraged by heavenly sustenance, Elijah rested again before embarking on a journey of 40 days and 40 nights to Mount Horeb, also known as Mount Sinai, the sacred mountain where Moses had received God's commandments. There, in the midst of solitude and intense spiritual searching, Elijah sought refuge in a cave to find answers to his deepest questions and longings. After Elijah's journey to Mount Horeb, he sought refuge in a cave to find answers to his deepest questions and longings. There, amid the solitude and silence of the ancient rocks, Elijah was confronted with the majestic presence of the Lord. A gentle breeze invaded the dark cave, bringing with it a sense of peace and awe. The prophet covered his face with his cloak as he awaited the divine manifestation. In a soft whisper, God questioned Elijah about his presence there, probing his heart and devotion. In an intimate dialogue with the Creator, Elijah expressed his zeal for the Lord and lamented Israel's apostasy. In this sacred encounter, God renewed Elijah's strength, reaffirming his prophetic purpose and calling. The experience on Mount Horeb marked not only a moment of reflection and restoration for Elijah, but also a turning point in his divine mission. Following the events on Mount Carmel and the demonstration of God's power before the idolatrous prophets, Elijah received a new divine commission. He was instructed by God to anoint Hazael as king of Syria, Jehu as king of Israel, and Elisha to succeed him as prophet. This mission was crucial to establishing God's will for the nations and preparing the way for future events that would shape the destiny of the people of Israel. With renewed faithfulness and courage, Elijah set out toward his God-given destinations, fulfilling his prophetic mission with determination and confidence in heavenly guidance. After completing his prophetic mission and anointing the future kings appointed by God, Elijah was led to a singular and grand moment in his spiritual journey. On a day marked by a solemn and mysterious atmosphere, Elijah said goodbye to those who accompanied him and climbed to the top of a sacred mountain. There, before the astonished eyes of his disciples, something extraordinary began to happen. A heavenly light enveloped Elijah, emanating an aura of peace and transcendence. Suddenly, a powerful whirlwind descended from the heavens, enveloping the prophet in its divine whirlwind. Little by little, Elijah was lifted above the earth, rising higher and higher toward the heavens. His robe fluttered gently in the heavenly wind as he ascended toward the abode of the Most High. The intense brightness of the divine presence illuminated the entire mountain, witnessing Elijah's glorious departure from the earth to the arms of the Creator. His disciples watched in awe and reverence, witnessing the moment when a simple man became part of eternity in a unique encounter between the earthly and the divine. Elijah's courage and unwavering faith are a powerful example for all leaders who face challenges and adversities in their journeys. Elijah not only defied idolatrous kings and prophets, but he also confronted the heavens themselves in the name of truth and justice. His courage transcended unfavorable circumstances and threats of persecution, standing firm in his conviction of God's sovereignty and power. As a leader, Elijah demonstrated the importance of remaining faithful to divine principles, even in the face of external pressures and worldly temptations. His determination to follow the path of righteousness and obedience inspires generations to persevere in the pursuit of truth, even when the path seems dark and lonely. Elijah's story reminds us that true leadership requires not only practical skills, but also an unshakable faith that is grounded in God's promises. Just as Elijah faced his fears and doubts with courage, every leader is called to overcome their own challenges with confidence in the help of God above. May Elijah's journey inspire us to lead with integrity, compassion, and boldness, always keeping our eyes fixed on the light that guides our steps toward the fulfillment of divine purpose. Elijah's solitary journey in the wilderness and the courage he demonstrated in his confrontations with idolatrous kings and prophets reveal essential aspects of true leadership. Elijah faced challenges that tested his faith, resilience, and deepest convictions. His ability to stand firm in the face of adversity, to maintain integrity amidst the corruption and idolatry around him, is an inspiring example for leaders of all ages. Elijah's solitude on Mount Horeb reflects the moments of reflection and renewal needed by every leader, where connecting with the divine can bring clarity of purpose and inner strength. His courage in challenging established power structures, his determination to seek divine justice above all else, and his compassion for the oppressed are timeless lessons that echo through the centuries. Like Elijah, every leader is called to walk a path of integrity, marked by fidelity to divine principles and a commitment to truth, even if it means walking alone against the crowds. May Elijah's story inspire us to lead with boldness, compassion, and authenticity, keeping the flame of hope alive even in the darkest moments. If you were inspired by the story of the prophet Elijah and want to explore more transformative narratives, subscribe to our channel now. Don't miss the next journeys that can change your worldview. Join us on this ongoing adventure of discovery and inspiration. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our amazing videos. Join us on our next journey.